I do not encourage nor condone any of the actions performed or products shown in this video. All of the videos are produced in a safe and controlled environment. Do not attempt to replicate any of the actions performed during this video.
Good morning. It is 7:35. I woke up to the light coming into my room and the sound of birds, which was very nice. I will now go wash my face and get ready for some coffee activities. Let's do it. The sun is starting to rise much earlier now, and so it's a lot easier to wake up early for me than when it's pitch dark. I mean, it's already full on light outside and it's not even 8 a.m. Throughout the whole of the winter, that's pretty rare. My second propagation seems to be doing well. I'm going to plant her soon, just like I did with her sibling. So I'm very, very excited about that. This one didn't want to root. She had been here for a month. The other one only had to be in water for 2 weeks, I think, until I potted it. So slow and steady. This is my other propagation. There are some new leaves coming. Do you see them? But the growth is a little bit slow, at least slower than I was expecting. Coriander. I noticed yesterday that there are some leaves that actually look like coriander now. Do you see that little one in the middle? That actually looks like a coriander leaf. So I'm really, really proud of this one. Yeah, I got distracted. I'm going to wash my face, get some coffee, and see you soon. Sunscreen. Alrighty, my friends, so today it is quite the day. It is not only my 9,103rd day of being alive, but it's also the day where I'm going to start a long process of reducing how much I'm smoking, because I'm not enjoying having 3 cigarettes per day. I think it is getting out of control. I'm already thinking I want to start going up to 4, so absolutely not. It is time to go down, not up. And so from today on, I'm going to be doing 2 cigarettes per day, and you're going to watch me go through my first day of reducing how much I smoke. I even have this mug, which I'm going to use for my coffee, which says positive, which I need to be. Also today, I'm going to go to the hairdresser again, because I was there last week and he told me, girl, what did you do to your hair color-wise? And I said, I've been dyeing it red and brown and red and brown. That's why it currently looks like a million different colors. And so today I'm going to dye all of my hair brown, which I'm quite excited about. Also, if you see my fingers looking like this, I apologize. I have severe eczema and I ran out of band-aids. So one thing I have to do today is get band-aids, but I don't have them anymore. So yes, my fingers are weird, but they have eczema. Alrighty, so I was having a cigarette in the morning, after lunch, and after dinner. These were my 3 trigger times, and because I want to reduce it to 2, I thought about which one I would like to cut first. And that is going to be the morning cigarette, unfortunately, because I am usually smoking it with just coffee and nothing on my stomach, so it seems to me to be the worst. And that is going to be the first one to go. The ultimate goal is to get myself back down to 1 cigarette a day, which is what I was doing for like 4 years before I fell into a little slippery slope, but it's okay. I have the resilience and the persistence and the power to get myself back there, and so I will. Morning cigarette is the first to be cut. I'm going to journal a little bit. Also, I added some photos to the mural I have in front of me. Check it out. I did this yesterday on stream. I added a bunch of these overlapping photos, such as this one and this one. I feel like it looks a lot cuter. I'm really happy with how my room is looking these days. It's very cozy and I feel like it feels like me. I finished my page for now, so I'm just going to put my photos here and also my days of the month and my bookmarker with the charm. This all goes inside of my journal. Now the marker with the charm looks like that. And then I just add a little ribbon, because I saw a lot of girls now have journals with ribbons, but I looked them up online and they were extremely expensive. So what I did is I just have a random line from, I don't know how to say this, but from crochet, you know, and I just tie a ribbon with it. Now I'm going to check Patreon messages and answer some comments. Alrighty, so it's around 8:30 and the thought of wanting to have my first cigarette of the day already arrived. And I feel like one of my biggest tips and what I did when I was trying to quit the IQOS is distraction. So as soon as the thought comes, I immediately start doing something else. Either write a paragraph, or read a paragraph of my book, or play a little bit of Path of Exile, or practice 10 minutes on the piano. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And what I've realized is that as soon as I start this other activity, the first few seconds I'm still thinking about wanting to have a smoke, and then after that I start getting immersed into the activity and I forget the thought completely, you know. And so this is going to happen a ton of times throughout the day. Yeah, it's just a matter of distraction. I'm not sure if that's the best conduct, to be honest. I'm no expert. I'm just doing this all by myself with my own experience. I already did my makeup and I'm going to practice piano a little bit, and then after that I'm going to go to the hairdresser, which I'm very excited to do. So yeah, let's go. My favorite yogurt, which I eat every morning. Alright, it's clearly time to take a break and go to the hairdresser. So this is my hair before. After. I don't know if it looks very different to you. It looks a little bit different to me. I'm going to be having some lunch here in my favorite spot. Taking the nature a little bit, you know. Hear the birds, feel the grass. Get some spiky things on my legs, which I don't know what they are, but there are some spiky plants here. I'm going to be having a smoke after. So this is supposedly a Greek salad. So it has feta cheese, olives, crouton, and then arugula and lettuce and cherry tomatoes. So I'm just going to open this compartment and drop everything on this one. I'm dropping the sauce on it. Then you just mix everything up. Let's try it out. It's so fresh. I especially love this lettuce, iceberg lettuce, crunchy lettuce. I'm not sure of the terminology for these things in English, as you can tell, but because I've been constantly distracted ever since I woke up, I feel like it has been quite easy to keep away the thoughts of I'd like to have a cigarette now, I'd like to have a cigarette now, which is a silly voice that is there at the back of my brain wherever I am not focused on an activity. One of the reasons that I want to really reduce how much I smoke eventually back to 1 cigarette per day is because I want to get back the feeling of ritual that I had with smoking before, where I knew there was a specific time of the day of my choosing that I would go out and sit somewhere in nature and have a smoke, and that would be it. You know, there's no more thoughts about smoking throughout the rest of the day, which of course is going to be very hard, if even possible, to get back to that state, because now my body's already used to the substance, you know, so it wants it. But I am the one in control, you know, and so I am the one that has to say no and keep this in control. If it's out of control, then to me it has to completely stop. So I'm trying to see if I am capable of keeping it under control now, and if not, then I'll have to make a bigger decision, you know, in a couple of months' time. I have to first give myself a chance, you know, to prove that I'm capable of resilience and persistence and getting through these thoughts and not indulging in them before I completely declare myself incapable of doing so and fully quit, you know. I'm going to be rolling my cigarette now. I'm getting a lot faster at rolling these days because I'm not really smoking packed cigarettes anymore. This is how it is looking. Clearly not very even, but I'm working on it. My salad is on its way to being fully eaten, so I'll finish it after I have my smoke. You know, it's great to finally see my hair be its original color again. I hadn't seen it be this color in many, many years. I started dyeing it when I was 18, and I dyed some red streaks, and then I dyed all of it red for a couple of years, and then I dyed it brown, but then I got bored of the brown and I went back to the red, and so I had been just dyeing it and re-dyeing it a lot. So it just was very fried, you know. I wasn't enjoying how it was anymore. I knew I wanted to have it long, but to have it long and ugly, I don't know, I was not feeling it, I think, and it was affecting my confidence, and so it was just time to cut it and dye it back to the original color. And surprise, I feel like it suits me a little bit better. I feel like the original color usually suits the human better than any others, but maybe that's just my case. There are tons of people that look so good with many different hair colors, so maybe it's a thing of the tone of the skin, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to start raining soon, but the clouds are starting to close in a little bit. Still, it feels very cozy out here. The only problem with rain is that I don't have an umbrella and I have electronics, aka you. I have to edit and plan some things for the videos this afternoon, and I also have to keep practicing piano. I'm really happy because I feel like my pieces are finally coming together, you know, for many months. And I feel like I have said this before, but for many months I was feeling very lost, and I felt like my skill level just wasn't up to par to what it needed to be able to play these pieces. But you know, practice may not make perfect, but practice gives improvement, you know, and so improving a little bit every day is all I need. I don't want to play them perfectly. I don't need to have the best mark on my exams. I just want to pass them and know that I did the best that I could, you know. I also want to finish writing the page that I was writing before on addiction and how I'm planning on controlling my consumption and all of that, because I feel like for me it is through journaling that I come to the realizations that I need to come to in order to progress, you know. I've been journaling for so many years that now I figure that if I just think about things, leave them all inside of my brain, the results are not as effective as when I write about things and I have a concrete plan on how I'm going to approach things, you know. I feel like I've just gotten so used to writing. I've been doing it for more than 10 years that leaving everything jumbled inside of my brain feels very, very chaotic. And just being able to read it all on paper and reread it when I need motivation and being able to motivate myself is something that is very, very important to me, and it really helps. I've been saying this, but I would say try journaling. Not having an actual journal where you doodle and do all of these things, but even if it's just on your notes app, just write about the things that you want to achieve and how you plan to achieve them, and write down the steps, you know? Because if you have smaller steps for a bigger goal, it's easier to know what action needs to be taken, rather than if you just have a goal and you don't have an idea of how you're going to get there, you know? I read this in Atomic Habits a couple of years back, but whenever you're trying to form a new habit, you cannot just have the habit in mind, you have to have a system of things that you're going to do so that this habit can come to reality, you know? You have to have steps and things you say to yourself and things that you do. So for example, in my case, I know that I'm no longer going to be having my morning cigarette, and that's a staple that I'm going to keep reinforcing in my routine, you know, until it becomes a habit. And it's going to take a while. It's going to take a couple of mornings for me being like, oh, it's time for my morning cigarette, and me saying, no, it's not. That doesn't exist anymore, you know? It takes time, but it is worth, because then you can form a whole new life around these better habits that you are trying to achieve. So yeah, I'm going to eat the rest of my salad now, and then I'm going to go home and start editing and continue on with my day. I already had to pass by the grocery store very quick to get some band-aids because my eczema just was not doing well at all this morning. So I already have 2 new packs of band-aids. I'll see you all soon for more updates, alright my friends? Alrighty, so I've been editing for about an hour and a half. We're still at the very early stages of the video, but I'm noticing a problem. Watching myself talking about smoking and watching myself smoking is giving me the urge to go and smoke too, but it's far too early. My last cigarette was 2 hours ago, and the next one is only going to be at the end of the day, sunset time at the minimum, and so I will instead drink some water and practice some more piano so I can immediately distract myself from these feelings. I just wanted to share them with you so that you know what I'm going through, but there are a lot of things that trigger me. If I finish a meal, I want to have a smoke. If I see somebody smoking on the street, I want to have a smoke. If I'm editing a video of myself, I want to have a smoke. If the breeze is flowing a specific type of way, I want to have a smoke, you know? So there are just too many instances, and the thing now is to redirect my attention. So I will practice the piano for at least an hour until these thoughts go away, and then I will get back to editing. All right, let's do this. Staying strong. Alrighty, it is now 4:05 p.m. I've been practicing for an hour and a half, and I will now make some coffee and biscuits for me to eat as a little snack, and I am going to read, potentially finish my Epictetus. It's almost done, only these pages left, so let's see if I can get through it, and yeah, let's go. These are the biscuits that I'm going to be having. They are called Húngaros here in Portugal. They are my favorite of all time. And I also have this cup of coffee right here. And let's see if I finish this book. I have to make an interlude just to say that having a cup of coffee with a sweet cookie on the side just hits different. It's the bitterness of the coffee with the sweetness of the cookie. I think everybody that drinks coffee knows this, especially in cafes here in Portugal. Sometimes they serve cups of coffee with a square of chocolate. It used to be way more frequent when I was younger. Nowadays I don't see it done as much. And reading Epictetus really helps because Epictetus was a Stoic philosopher. He was a slave and he wrote the manual and discourses. Well, he didn't write it, but he left writings which then his students like collected and put together into books, you know, from what I know at least. And one thing that Epictetus is always talking about is self-control. How being in control of yourself is literally the only thing that you can do. Everything else is totally out of your control. What happens to you, what circumstances you are put in, you know, just what people say to you, what people do to you, if you get fired, if you get a new job, all of these are out of your control, you know. The only thing under your control is how you react, how you approach things, you know, your conduct basically. And so thinking about Epictetus's way of being really helps me with having strength and knowing, you know, I might be having these thoughts, I may be having these cravings, but ultimately this is a job for me that only I can do. And if I want to prove to myself that I am capable of perseverance, you know, resilience, then I have to get through the emotions that are difficult, the feelings that are hard, you know, the sensations that are unpleasant. All of these are hurdles that I have to get through. And whenever I think about Epictetus, I get strength. I feel stronger. And I almost feel like I would disrespect him, which I enjoy so much, if I was to cave in on these thoughts. All right, I feel a lot clearer now. I feel hopeful and I feel confident in myself and my ability to take this through until it's been a month, a couple of months, and I realized that I've successfully been able to cut down. I'll be proud of myself by then. And as I was writing here, breaking this promise that I made to myself would be betraying myself, and I don't want to do that. That's pretty lame. So yeah, I feel great. It wasn't today, but one day I'll get it right. Alrighty, it is now 7 p.m. Almost time for me to start making dinner for me and my dad. It has started raining outside, which is very pleasant, and I'm feeling really good. I have been distracting myself quite well in doing various multiple things, and I've not been even allowing my thoughts to last more than 5 seconds before I redirect. So I'm feeling proud of myself. Alright, it feels like the journey is lying ahead of me and I just have to walk it, you know? Alright, let's go. Take out leftovers from yesterday. Hello there my friends, it is 8:03 p.m. Dinner was really tasty, delicious, and now we have arrived at the second and last cigarette of the day, which was terribly difficult to roll because of my eczema. Imagine I do a thumbs up and this is what you see. I cannot even take myself seriously right now. I'm going to be smoking this and reflecting. I'm also going to light my incense again. You know, today has felt really good. It was difficult to deal with the thoughts that reducing brings, you know, especially knowing that now my decision is final, because I was smoking on some days 2 cigarettes per day without thinking too much about it, you know. But now I know that my decision is final and there is no third cigarette again, and so it feels a little heavier. But I feel like I did pretty well. And I feel like reading Epictetus right now just was the time that I needed it, and I didn't even know when I started the book. I feel like knowing that this is my last one for today makes me enjoy it all that much more, you know, rather than mindlessly have another cigarette later on. I am confident that I can decrease and maybe one day erase these thoughts that I have in between smokes and go back to how I was doing for the first 3 years of smoking, where it was purely a ritual for me, you know. But for now, I feel like what is right to do for myself is to start the process of reducing, and especially not letting myself just keep raising it one by one a couple of months apart, you know. That's really not a route that I want to fall upon, and so it's important for me that I acknowledge it early on, you know. And I feel happy. At the end of the day, I think this is about not letting myself down. I don't know, I just want to try to make efforts to live life in the calmest and happiest way that I can, knowing that there are some vices, such as, for example, League of Legends and acquiring stationery. I have a little bit of a shopping problem with stationery, but it's not too bad. It's just sometimes I see some cute stickers and I already have many stickers that I still have to use, and I still buy them, knowing that I should probably use the ones that I have first before buying the next batch, you know, these sorts of things. I feel like it's important to acknowledge the vices that you have in your life and to ponder what you would like to do about them. And so I'm feeling pretty positive. After today, I feel like it's going to be easier than I thought it would be. I just have to create a new routine for myself with a new habit and get out of the old habits that I was, you know, falling into. And yeah, I feel confident. And most of all, I feel proud that I've been able to catch myself and say, this is not all right and we need to change it. I will probably finish the day editing this video, maybe indulging in a game or two of League of Legends more with some of my friends, and then I'm going to rest. And yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I have no idea what you think of these sorts of videos. Let me know. That's why the comments are there, so you can share feedback, and I love reading your comments. It brightens up my day, it gives me new perspectives, it gives me feedback, and so I appreciate it a lot. I hope to see you all very, very soon. Thank you so much for being here with me, and have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye!